Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? It's me, E. I'm here with a very special guest. Everyone, I would like you to meet Richie Ong. Woo!
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hey, Richie. Richie is actually dare I say, one of the main mans there in Cebu when it comes to MTG, Cebu MTG, and dare I say, like top 10 or top what? Top, it's a
No,
bold
no,
claim. It's a bold claim, is it?
no, no, no. There's a lot of good players here. We'll be lucky if I'm top 10.
Definitely. I had the chance to visit Magus Cebu a couple of like months back, and I could see that like
Mhm.
the Magic community there is very how should I say, like it's sort of almost family. It's sort of almost a family. You can feel their togetherness. However, the competitiveness is still there. Even like
Yes,
Salamander Gaming. I
yes,
love.
definitely. Like we're close as family, but there's definitely some sharks still swimming around to make sure
Yeah,
they maximize on everything,
I love
which
it.
is all, which is great. Which is great. More competition is more fun.
Definitely, definitely. So, I also see you around like a lot of like Philippine competitive scene. The last time I've seen you, like I think you guys entered last year's Gold Rush? Was it there, or is it the recent WMCQ? And
Um, I was there for the recent one, the Gold Rush Plus WMCQ that was in that hotel or that casino
yes,
place in Manila. That's the one
nice.
I attended.
I was
Yeah,
actually
that's the
there.
first one I attended.
But unfortunately I
Yes,
cannot join. I just stuck there
yeah,
drinking
you were
coffee.
qualified. Like pro player problems, but
No, no, no.
we understand.
I really want to play. I really do want to play. Actually, the reason why we are here is because you actually like on PT4 or PT3. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I was on PT4. I was on
PT4, right?
PT4.
Nicely done. Guys, if you are wondering, actually Richie is finished 86 on the last PT4. Woohoo! Congratulations.
Woo! Yes, thank you. I'll take it.
So that's the reason actually why I wanted to give a quick chat with you or grab this opportunity to talk to you right now. Can you tell us a little bit about your PT journey? Or is this your first PT, and how did you manage to like get into the PT program? Is it a PT program?
Yeah. Yeah, PT program. Yeah, so that was definitely my first PT. So I've been
Nice.
playing Magic for like since I started playing Magic around Theros block. I played it way back, but then not like very casually. So a friend brought me to a PR in Theros, and that's when I got to start playing Magic again.
Mhm.
Then like I think around 2 or 3 years ago, I decided to play more competitively to try to get to the Pro Tour. And like after 2 to 3 years, I was lucky enough to get there this
Oh
year.
my god. 2 to 3 years, guys, it's not a long time, right? I've been trying for like
Yeah.
I think like
Maybe three
five
to four, actually. I
years.
don't know. Maybe even longer. I'm bad with dates.
No, but I mean like that's a big thing. Like even when we were starting out, I believe that was the main goal, like to get into that level, I guess. So,
Oh no, my main. I used to bottom for every FNM I joined. My original goal was just the top four back then.
oh my god.
Everyone took the floor with me here in Cebu.
But I guess that's part of the journey and the things that we love to do, I guess, right? Um,
Yes,
so
definitely.
in terms of the qualification, did you do it online or did you do it like on paper? Sorry, I just wanted to clarify for the
Uh,
peeps.
oh yeah, sorry. I forgot to mention that. I did it on paper. I forgot what's it called now. It used to be RPPQ. I forgot what they call it. WPNQ, something like that.
WPNQ. Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Paper
yeah.
magic.
So lucky. Yeah, paper magic, best magic. So it was
Yes.
lucky enough it was held here, right here in Cebu. We rarely get any, if at all, here. So that was pretty lucky. It was held here, just in like one of our malls under Play to Learn. So I was able to join that, and I was able to win it. So that was pretty lucky also.
Nice, nice. Oh,
So,
shout out to
so it
Magus
was
and Play to
quite
Learn as well
convenient.
on Cebu, guys. You are killing it out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. Magus, Angie, and Play to Learn. Good job, everyone.
I love it. So, all right. Now that
Yeah.
you've qualified on the PT and the qualification round is something that actually was also a bit interesting, right? But for now, we want to certain center on PT. Dare I say you
Yeah.
are the master of like the unorthodox decks just bringing like random stuff in the tournament and just
Ah,
crushing it,
yeah,
just
that
crushing
depends.
it.
Like the WPNQ, I won with the mono red list from Seth
Mm.
Manfield, like exact 75 in the sideboard guide. So and but then I've also when the tournament I feel like calls for it, I play my janky decks also.
Like,
Yeah.
or
Like the one you mentioned, the Gold Rush. I played four color gates when
yes,
everyone was playing. I forgot what was the main deck. It was the Cat Oven deck. Yeah, while I was playing like that four color gates,
yes,
since
I
it had
think,
a good match.
and you were crashing it like you were on the top table. I think you were like
Yeah,
top five table if I'm not mistaken on the round that I saw you
yeah,
at the very least.
yeah.
It
I
was
was
like,
in the top tables until I like lost twice and lost contention for top 8 in day 2. It was
and
close.
but I mean like that's crazy. That was guys just to put point this to the right direction, right? In terms of like the matchup that we were talking about on Gold Rush. That was the time when Sultai cats were a big thing. Basically, everybody was just playing
Yes,
cats, right? And there you go,
cats. Yeah,
Richie
Oko
just came in
cats.
with that
Oko.
four color
Yeah,
Gates deck.
yeah. It was fun. Like win or lose, at least I would have fun. So I didn't mind
Definitely,
that at all.
I was rooting for you, man, heavily at that time. I was like, yo,
Thanks, man. Thanks. Close, close. Would have been good
Correct.
if I made top 8. A lot of cat decks, which was a
That's
good
true.
matchup.
I mean, I think you would have like dominates. All right. Speaking of
Nah,
like,
so many.
speaking of like the weapon of choice, like let's talk about how you craft your deck for the weapon of choice right now, and it's very
Yeah,
very interesting. All right. Let's transition to your deck right now. All right. Okay.
got it.
So tell me about how how did you come to select this deck? Because for the life of me, I've never seen this in the radar, like on the top. Like,
Yeah, it was like I just built it from scratch in my head because I already had like a previous deck before. Before this, I was seriously testing Timor Reclamation because it was the best deck.
hmm,
So I had like a lot of reps with that, and of course it felt great. But I saw that the meta was evolving to one upping the mirror. So suddenly people had Wilt in the main board. People had 3 to 4 copies of Aethergust in the main board. People were cutting down on Scorching Dragonfire. There was no main board AoE. So like from there, I thought like, okay, I need what's a good go wide deck that could capitalize on this. And I remembered one of my old decks before that I made was a green white token deck. So I was like, I'll craft it up and I'll give it a whirl on MTG Arena and see if it works well. And if it did bad, I would have just scrapped it and kept practicing the other decks. But surprisingly, it did well, so I rolled with it from
nice.
there.
You made mention that you have like a couple more decks on the pipeline. What were your other considerations, if we might ask?
Yeah. So the other one, the second one, of course, the Demo Reclamation, and the one after that was the Band Ramp deck. It was
Ah,
because like shout out to my testing team. They did an amazing job making a huge kind of like improvement on the deck, and I thought it was very tuned. So that was maybe my second option, the band list that they came up with.
nice. So, guys, I'm
Yeah.
always a proponent of like doing magic while gathering, right? Like you made mention there is
Yep.
a testing team behind. I believe like for every
Yep.
great magic player, there's always a great team behind. Shout out to the team.
Yep.
Do you guys have like
Yeah.
a team name or
Yeah. Quick shout out to the team, like PP Zoomies, temporary name for the PP. Yeah, composed of a lot of players that they were all also qualified for the PP, like Julio Espina, Normie
nice?
Mendoza, Lex Tarabella, and Nicholas Price. So they did an amazing job,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
and they were able to help me also tune the deck. Also,
Hmm. Ah, nice. I see. It's basically Team Philippines going to PT. I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
So it was great working with those guys. It was a very knowledgeable time. I learned a lot from them also.
I got you. I got you. All right. So you came into a decision using these Celestia tokens, then, right? What were
Yeah,
your meta predictions at that time? What were you looking to crush basically with your strategy?
yeah. So I was basically preying on, of course, the Timor Reclamation deck since they only had spot removal, no AoE. the band lists were cutting down on their Shatter's main board, so wanted to capitalize on that as well. And based on my experience, my deck was really good against other aggro decks.
Mm.
And for PT3 and 4, people were shifting. PT1 and 2, people tried to play Sultai against the more like whole lot of thought distortion and like mono green. That's what people were trying to do. And again, it didn't work since the Morak won both PTs. So heading up to PT3 and 4, we could see from like the LCQs and the leagues that people were going towards Bant and going for lower to the ground aggro decks, which for me again I thought was favorable. So that made me comfortable with my deck choice.
I got you. So basically, we're aiming to basically destroy the biggie, Timor.
Yeah, yeah. So it was really against Timor. So I had a good like 70% win rate on ladder. So I think that was good enough for me.
I love it. I love it. All right. So let's talk about the deck composition. Now that we have your journey has like you're set on Celestia. Might I ask like just an estimate, rough estimate? When did you like basically say I'm going with tokens? Is it like a week before? Is it like how many days before?
Like probably like I finally decided on it like 3 to 4 days before the PT, but my heart already knew long ago I was going with the deck.
Nice.
Deep down
I love
inside,
this.
I knew I was going with the deck, but
I love this.
that's just gonna help testing the other decks as well because they were pretty good.
That's true. That's true. Let's test them out, and then if you guys feel like that's the thing that you need to do, right? I think that there has been merits in doing that specific testing phase, right?
Yeah.
As well, right? So yep, I
Yes.
totally see the logic behind. On the flip side, can
Yeah.
I also ask about your deck composition right now? You say
Yeah,
to
of
go
course.
wide. The thing
Yes.
that interests me the most, because at one of the streams I tried to play your deck. Unfortunately, I think I really didn't understand too much on how the sequencing is. So I think that's the reason why I had like a very low. It's not a very low, like it's not 40. It's around 50 to 60 range. Not bad,
Mhm.
but I believe
Yeah,
that's
not
because
bad.
I didn't know the exact timings, right? One of the things that
Yeah,
I
it takes-
weren't able to figure out was your March of the Multitude tempo. So
Yeah.
I was thinking like it's running forward. There must be a specific reason why we're running forward, right?
Yes. Yes. It's the riskiest, but then it's also the most powerful card in the deck in terms of it and Loxodon. So it takes a lot of timing to get it right and like when to commit, when to just invest, when to hold it up. Should I invest in the damage or should I just go for the march? So it gets pretty tricky.
I see. So it's not really on a specific curve because I was playing it
Yeah,
in a
it's
way
not.
wherein it's like turn 3, turn 4. I'm going to march. Whatever happens, I'm just going to
Yeah.
march.
As much as possible, you try to be patient with it unless you don't have any choice. So because you want to maximize, especially unless you have like 2 to 3 copies in hand. So that's when you're forced to just keep jamming it per turn and hope that works.
Mm. So if I'm reading it right, it's more like the finishing move of the deck. If I am I right
Yeah.
to say that? Oh, okay, okay.
Not exactly. Yeah, finishing. It's one of the like the coup de grace. Like especially like against tempo reclamation. If you resolve, it's either if you resolve one good march or maybe 2 bad marches, most of the time you'll probably win, especially game 1.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
And it's like you're trying to avoid getting blown out by either gus, so you just have to make sure you avoid the gus and the disputes and the negates. And if you get 1 or 2 in, it's a very favorable from there.
I love it. I
And like
really love
yeah.
it.
Also, one interaction said that when you get more experience with the deck, is how you feign not attacking. Because of course, your opponent has Sharknado, right? So that's also a good reason not to attack into them. So sometimes you can purposely not put counters on your creatures to make it look like you don't have any good attacks. So okay, like I'll just attack with my Loxodon, I just attack with my 3/1, and this is the only good attack. You'll think, okay, he's playing around my Shark. They tap out for Shark. You march for 5 to 7, and from there they can't recover. So you just have to read the situation, and like you can just try to feign that you're playing around Shark, but you're really just waiting for them to tap out, where you can get a good march in.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
So I have been definitely, guys, for those who have been watching the stream, I have been doing it wrong. Don't do that. Don't just like
No.
turn 5 up. I'm going to hold it up because I'm going to play March of the Multitudes after.
Sometimes that's good enough. Sometimes it's good enough.
I was thinking like, oh man, this feels so good to play, but I'm not
It
sure
does.
if I just attack. The other thing that I noticed
Yeah.
is the card choice, this rescue card, right? What's the name of this card? It's a 3 off one to cast instant that you can rescue anything that you have in play. I really like this card.
The Shepherd was
Shepherd.
it? The 3-1?
Yep.
Yes, that's a very good card.
Was this already part of your initial plan when you were testing, or what? Was it something like you just added on?
Oh no, that card has been surprisingly good. Initially, I had a green white token stack, but I saw from the previous time there was a green white adventure stack, so that's why I just jammed it in there. I was trying to get like the best of both worlds with my token deck and the meta green white adventure deck 4. And of course, I just shoved the 3-1 automatically as a filler card, as a good 2-drop. But then surprisingly, the bounce has been very, very good to me in more ways I didn't expect. I didn't even know it bounced other permanents. I only thought it used to just bounce creatures.
Creatures.
Yeah, so like after like 5 games, oh wow, wait, why is this thing highlighted? Oh wow, it can bounce my land, it can bounce my conclave. And from there,
Ooh.
it really started opening up for me and how well I could play the card.
Nice. Actually, that is
Yeah.
true. I love how it can
Yeah,
bounce your
you get to-
conclave, your what you call
Yep.
this? Um,
Yeah,
glass
Conclave Tribunal.
caskets, right? Even your
Yep.
Knights of
Yep.
Autumn.
Yep. So like a lot of things that ETB like, and if you have another shepherd in play, you can bounce it with the shepherd in your hand. Play the shepherd that you just cast and use the other shepherd to bounce it. When you have an innkeeper, so it just draws you like infinite cards as long as you have the mana. So you just scoop
Nice.
it like that.
Card
Yeah.
engine,
So if you have
baby.
mana, yeah. So it's like an aggro deck with a small chance to go infinite in card draw with mana.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
Also, guys, I just noticed when I was playing this one also the synergy of the fight as one. Right? I noticed
Yes,
that
it's very good.
it's really good. There's a lot of
It's very good.
humans. So just to round it off, right? You have
Yeah.
what you call this? Your innkeeper is a human, right? Your
Yep.
your giant killer is also a human, right? And
Yep.
the shepherd is also a human.
Yep. The
Oh.
Love Struck Beast token is also a human.
Human, right? It's so cool. And then everything else are non-human, so you get to
Not-
protect too.
Yep. Yep. So you usually get both values, so which is pretty good.
I love it. I love this.
Yeah, like saving like a Love Struck or a Loxodon is pretty good. Like, well, like they try to shatter you in for 1 mana. You still get to draw the card, and you still get your 5/5 and a 1/1 to attack with them next turn.
Gotcha. All right. So when you were crafting your sideboard, looking at the sideboard list right now, what were your main considerations? Right. What was your thought process, and why did you put any of those? Like, let's say for example, something to highlight, like the what you call this? The Planeswalker. Forgot his name.
Yeah,
Gideon.
Gideon.
Yes, the Gideons.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So he was mainly for, again, Temur Reclamation. So crazy as it sounds, right? Like I built the deck to beat Temur Reclamation, but it's just that good of a deck nga. Even post board, I still have to sideboard heavily to still beat it, because they also change their dynamics. They have a lot of axes they can attack on. So they have these Nightpack Ambushers. They have Commence the Endgame. They have Uro. They have like Sharknado. So they have like very different angles of attacking. Gideon was a good answer post board to fight them, especially when they brought in the Flame Sweeps.
Nice. Yes, definitely. Dodging the flame sweeps. I love it.
Yep,
So
dodging the Flame Sweep and like
We talked about the fight as one, so we can already scrap that. Is
Yeah.
the Knight of Autumn and what you call this, the intervention, also for that matchup for Team War?
yeah, initially I had the full set of Knight of Autumns, but the more I played it, the more it didn't seem like the best plan, since they could easily draw their creature half and you would be stuck with just like a 4/3. So that's why I decided to trim them. But I prefer them on the draw compared to on the play, since I would rather be aggressive. But it changes a lot. Depends on how the opponent sideboards. Like you can, if you see like 3 ambushers, then you can decide on game 3. You'll really trim down on them.
Nice.
And they're also for the sacrifice decks, which are really good. So
Oh yeah, the
the
John
Autumn Sender.
sacrifice. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Also good.
Yeah, so
Maybe
that's
a
up
little
there.
bit of
Those
the
two matchups. Actually,
uh,
no, I
no.
don't. Yeah, it's most likely like a glass casket or a ECD. But then I try just not to go toe to toe with them for 1-for-1.
Mm,
I just try to outpace them instead. So they're better at going long.
got you. That's a game plan. So I guess you have covered everything. From my perspective, the way you built the deck is that we need just to beat the big baddies. Everything else, I think we can just overrun them because they don't have that much. They're not prepared for this
Yeah.
Dunkin' Master.
Yeah.
This
Except
Kung
like,
Fu.
yeah, I easily lose to like really bad matchups are like the Jun Sack deck and the Sultai deck. So it's really hard to play around those. Like you can't play around Cry of Carnarium as much as you want to, or like the Extinction card. So like Fight as One or the Unbreakable Formation won't really save you there. So that's a bad matchup.
I see. So you do have like a bad matchup that you wanted to dodge as well on the
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah. Every deck has it. Can't be avoided.
I was hoping that
Just hope.
the popular ones are like the ones that we wanted to beat, right? I guess that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, Junsak was probably the one I lost to the most. I lost like 2 of them in the PT, and like in my rank also, it's not a great win rate. Probably like 30 to 40% win rate against them. Like
I
no
got you.
no matter how much I board against them.
But I think that's the
Tough
reason.
matchup.
Is the John matchup actually better in terms of like facing against, say, Timur, or no? Like the John sacrifice, is it good?
Initially, before, yes, when they initially went on the 4 Cindervines game plan, like before, like Timur Reclamation would just stone cold beat John Sack for it being too slow. Then eventually they adapted and added the 4 Cindervine, so suddenly they're the favorite matchup. But then the Timur Reclamation also went back by playing now Wilt for the Timur and their matchup plus the Ambusher, so now it's back favorite to them. So now the Junsak, again, to face that off, started playing 4 Corvolds. It's really like a back and forth with them.
Gotcha.
That's how much I was paying attention to the meta, so I knew exactly what they were doing to
Ay,
each other, even though I was playing the decks.
let's talk about the preparation work, right? What were your preparation going into the tournament? I mean, we talked about the deck, right? Let's talk about your actual preparation, your mental and physical preparation. How did you prepare for the PT?
Yeah, so aside from that, like you play like a whole lot of games with the deck, and you keep that's the number one thing. You gotta play with all the deck with a lot. Like you gotta get your reps in. I wouldn't have known Shepard could have bounced non-creature things until I kept playing. Like you learn things like that, even though you should know it from the start. And aside from that, and what else? Like I keep watching like video coverage. I look at the people's results and see from there, and a lot of like theory crafting and chatting with my testing team for insights, especially if they have like a whole lot of info to give and from a lot of sources. So it was like a lot of information to absorb also and digest.
Gotcha. So to summarize, the prep work is more about research, repetition, like deck familiarization, so that it doesn't you're not surprised when you're playing, and lots of reading, I believe, right?
Reading, but I'm a more of a watcher than a reader, but I try to read. I like to watch streams and like see how they do it. Like I said, Manfield used to stream a lot of Timurek, so I keep watching him leading up to the PT.
Gotcha.
So it was good to see how he would, even though you're not playing the deck, but you see how he approaches the deck against other matchups, so you learn from there.
All right. That's cool. All right. Talking about the PT itself, what were like the things that you can recall that was like the highlight of your tournament, the best best place you made, probably? Do you have
well, to start off with the highlight, that's definitely making day 2 and getting the feature match. So that's one for the books that I won't forget for real. So that was pretty happy to get feature match. Didn't expect it. So I guess, but then sometimes you get lucky when you play a giant deck.
Well, I mean, I watched the replay for that one. Right? I think the
Yeah.
commentators were positive with the deck, and they really liked it. I mean, like, everybody wants to root for the deck.
Yeah, it's just everyone wants to root for the weird deck. Yeah. So that was great being on the feature match. Norby helped me out. He was able to message one of the people of the channel Fireball and saying, "Hey, one of my friends is playing this deck. You might be interested." So shout out to him again for helping me out there. Might have not made the feature match without him.
Shout out to shout out to the guys in MTG Cebu for supporting. I mean, like, the chat was a buzz. Everybody was lit at a time when
Yeah.
you got featured.
Yeah.
Everybody tuned in for sure.
That was great. Like, shout out to again Cebu, like always with the non-stop support. It was great also, like playing knowing they were watching, so that makes you want to do a lot better. So like especially in these rough times.
That's true. I'm on the part where since we have the highlights, let's think about if you were to tell something on your, like, if you were like to time travel and tell your past self and say, hey, past self, these are the things that I think you need to improve. What would that be? Like going into a PT next PT.
Play better decks and stop tilting so much. Yeah,
So I
play
guess
better decks.
you're saying would have been patience and a bit of like when you say better decks, do you consider this deck as a good choice, or was it like
Yeah, it was a good choice. Not for this one specifically, or like the one I mentioned with the gates. It's like really past me. I used to really love mill decks. I used to really love to go against the grain. So like now, like that's why you can imagine I like merely. It took me like a year of playing Magic before I probably even top 4 than FNM. So I used to play such bad decks, and I wasn't very good also. But then you double that with playing a bad deck, right? Like your opponent moves to 4 or 5, and yet you still lose. So it's probably the deck if that happens.
Makes sense.
So
I think
yeah.
that's your pet deck, right? Is it your mill deck is your pet deck, your first love?
Yeah,
Dare I say?
yeah, first love. Still dreaming of the day that it becomes competitive.
Well, there might be a common time. That would be great, right?
Yeah, Tutelage is back, so that's something.
Yes, brew.
The brew.
All right.
Yeah, and like that. Also tilt. I used to tilt a lot before, so it would cost me games getting tilted fast.
I guess
So,
this
better
trickles
now.
down to the next portion. I want to ask you, like, for the new ones out there, or the ones that wants to be on the come up, right? What would be your message and what would be your advice?
Yeah, like keep grinding, and the most important thing is just to have fun. Honestly, as long as you have fun, you'll enjoy it. Like it doesn't feel like practice, doesn't feel like a grind as long as you're having fun with it. And in the end, even if you want to be pro or you want to play competitive, it's still a game. So just have fun with it, and don't forget about the gathering. Like the best thing about Magic is the fun and the people you meet. Honestly,
Totally
easily
agree
the
with
best part of Magic.
you. Totally agree with you. I mean, here we are gathering. I guess.
I guess it's not Magic without the gathering.
Richie, I don't want to take too much of your time. I really am appreciative of this chat with you, man. Do you want to do any quick shout outs to anyone, or like if you're doing anything, Facebook page, anything?
No, not doing any of that. But then again, I'd just like to re-shout out again to my testing team, the PT Zoomies, to the Cebu community, and of course, my very supportive girlfriend also has no problem with playing Magic and has always been there. So, like, shout out to every one of those for being very supportive. Couldn't have done it without them.
Nice. Guys, shout out to those who support Richie. Richie, I'm really hoping, and actually, I'm not really hoping. I already know that we'll be seeing you guys in the next PT for sure.
Nah, we'll see each other for sure. We better be there together.
I hope so. All right.
Likewise.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, please, if you like the content, like and subscribe, and then follow Richie's journey. I'm hoping that maybe one of these days he'll be able to like showcase his gameplays on the PT. I'm looking forward to that one as well, Richie. Right?
Thanks for having me also, son. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Shout out to Cebu. Shout out to Magus and Play to Learn. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to PT Zoomies as well. All right, cool.
Yep. Shout out everyone.
So as
Stay safe,
always,
everyone.
guys. Yep. Let's say it again. Let's say it
Stay
twice.
safe.
Say stay
Stay
safe.
safe. Wear a mask.